documenting what you do, or, as we've said in some of our marketing, get your business out of your brain. What is the first step to realizing I've got something here, I've got a sequence of steps, or I've got a way of doing things that I need to put down on paper? When do you get to the place that you should start to do that?
Well, understand, when you get to the place that you understand you've got to do that, is hopefully right now. Meaning whomever we're speaking to right now, no matter what they're doing right now, even if they're just thinking about starting a small business, before they ever even start, that idea has to be deeply embedded in your consciousness. Because without documentation, without the system being orchestrated, as we call it, without your being able to say, this is how you do step one, this is how you do step two, this is how you do, et cetera, no matter what it is, whether it's building a wall, painting a house, cooking a chicken dinner, doesn't matter what it is. Until you understand that there will be no growth until and unless you're capable of showing someone how to do what it is that needs to be done to produce any result whatsoever, no matter how important or how trivial that result might be. You absolutely have to understand that the documentation of that process is absolutely fundamental to growth. There can be no consistency without it. There can be no effectiveness without it. There can be no authenticity without it. There can be no control over it without documentation. The documentation of what we do, how we do it, why we do it, and what it produces is absolutely critical to operating anything on this planet. Whether it's online or on site, it makes absolutely no difference. You're going to have to do it. And so you have to start out understanding that before you do job one, that every single task, every single human being does on the planet is in fact a process. And that process is really a process over time, is a system. So everything we do, right now we're doing something. This is a process.
Sure.
So we start with, how do we do it? How do we do it? How do we do it? Why do we do it? And what in fact is the result we intend to produce here?
Yeah, I love that. Such a simple example, but just us sending you the link to log into and getting the lights just right and going through the conversation and what questions, all of that is a process that if someone was to do a lot of interviews, they'd want to document, right?
Absolutely, because we're going to have to deal with a light again and again and again and again. We're going to have to deal with the how you click on again and again. We're going to have to repeat this again and again and again and again. And then somebody else is going to have to repeat this again and again and again and again. So right. I don't have to be there to repeat this again and again and again. You might say the video that's being shot at this very moment is indeed evocative of an absolutely clear, turnkey, and replicable system.
Yes, absolutely. So let me ask you this then. Today, you've got fast-moving startups like online companies and companies like Facebook that say, move fast and break things, and let's just create chaos and let's plow forward. How do you see that contrast with the idea that you want to plan everything out perfectly from the beginning and document things perfectly from the beginning?
Well, I hear that, and it's the provocative bullshit that everybody speaks about what in fact everybody's doing. So they're essentially saying you're going to create chaos because you don't know any better. Well, let's just start and let's just create chaos and everything will work out fine. Bullshit. Everything won't work out fine. In short, chaos produces nothing other than chaos. So if we begin this process with some semblance of order, to understand the four critical roles of an entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is a dreamer, a thinker, a storyteller, a leader. The dreamer has a dream, the thinker has a vision, the storyteller has a purpose, the leader has a mission. This is how you discover your dream. This is how you discover your vision. This is how you discover your purpose. This is how you discover your mission. If we simply just start without any logic to everything we're about to do, we're just stupid. So effectively, everything we've learned over all these 40 plus years of organizing the world around us in such a way that it works in an incredibly more effective way, all of that must be internalized. The beauty of it is because it's a system. Mm-hmm. For example, at Radical U, it's a system. You can begin to engage with it in a way that produces more predictable outcomes and more of a transformation internally as you awaken the new entrepreneur within.
Yeah. So let me share this. When, customers that sign up for our product for Trainual, it's funny, I can always tell who the second time business owners are, because those are the ones starting with a person of one or two, signing up for the system and documenting, and they're not already at 100 and the wheels are spinning off and it's total chaos. And they say, how do I even get started? I can't even fathom how to write down everything that's going on in this place. So as somebody is going through that growth path, what is your recommendation? Is it that they spend time every day documenting? Is it they document while they're doing something? Is it that they have a project every month or every quarter to catch up on the new things they've learned how to do? Practically speaking, how can someone get this type of work done?
Well, tactically and practically speaking, we address that in Radical U as the eightfold path.
Okay.
The eightfold path simply describes a process. And it's the process we believe must be applied to the launch of a company of one, which is just that guy you just talked about, doing it. Here's a guy, he's painting fences. He's painting fences. He's self-employed. He's painting fences. He's got a company of one. Mm-hmm. He's making chicken dinners. He's making tacos. Whatever he or she is doing. And they go to work doing it. And obviously he's got a job. So now he can paint a fence. He's got a job and now he's going to paint a fence. Well, what's involved in painting a fence? And why is he painting fences in the first place? So we're saying the very first thing that you must do while you're doing the stupid stuff you're doing, painting a fence, fixing a fence, whatever, building a fence, whatever, in quotes, the product of your company is. We're saying the first 4 steps of the eightfold path are to discover your dream, your vision, your purpose, and your mission. So at Radical U, we devote a year to doing that. While you're doing everything else. Doesn't matter what you do. Just keep on doing everything else, doing it. Get it better, let it worse, do whatever it's going to do. Doesn't make any difference. What we absolutely know makes a difference, however, is creating a foundation for everything you're going to do. Without that foundation, you're lost. And so I'm saying the foundation is what we did in 1977 when I started my first company. It's called the Michael Thomas Corporation. I was Michael, he was Thomas. And we started out working together to discover what our dream was, our vision was, our purpose was, and our mission was. And we didn't begin doing anything until we figured that out. So our dream at the Michael Thomas Corporation, way back then in 19 freaking 77. Our dream was to transform the state of small business worldwide. I can remember us coming to agreement about that, Tom and I. Our dream was to transform the state of small business worldwide. We wrote that down. That was the key. That was the dream. That was the end game. That was the outcome of everything we were going to do.
And for anyone listening, that is the inspiration for everyone that will follow your business and engage with your business and work for your business and purchase from your business. And without that dream, there's nothing to inspire and motivate. And so many businesses are lacking that.
It's the energy, Chris. Yeah. It's the energy. Because you understand, all this you and I do, every single person on the face of the planet does, requires energy. So the very first thing we need to do is to discover that energy, that higher energy that takes us out of just doing it for the sake of making a living. So we're saying we didn't start the Michael Thomas Corporation to make a living. We started the Michael Thomas Corporation to make a difference. Now, understand, everybody says those words, but we practiced those words. This was an argument we walked into, Tom and I. So why are we here? So why are we here? So why are we here? Well, to sell our consulting services. Bullshit. We're not here to do that. We're here to do something significantly larger. What's the large thing we're here to do? So the dream is critical. The next step was the vision. So understand, we had to have a vision. To us, the vision was the form our company was going to take in order to realize the dream. Understand, the dream drove everything. But now we're going to create this practical reality called a company. And so our vision was to invent the McDonald's of small business consulting. How are we going to realize the dream? How are we going to transform the state of small business worldwide? By becoming the McDonald's of small business consulting. An outrageous statement. But you understand, if we went deeper into the dream, we could talk more and more and more and more and more and more and more about it. And that's what all my books are about. If we talk about the vision, we can talk more and more and more. What do you mean by the McDonald's of small business consulting? Why McDonald's? Why small business consulting? You get my point.
Yeah, sure.
The third step was effectively our purpose. And in short, our purpose was that every single small business owner on the planet who was called by our story, by our paradigm, by our dream, by our vision, could become as successful as a McDonald's franchisee. Why did we say a McDonald's franchisee? Because to us, McDonald's was the most successful small business in the world. And I would say McDonald's is still the most successful small business in the world.
Have you seen the movie? Have you seen the movie?
I saw the movie, The Founder. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could talk a lot about that movie, but let's not do that here. And finally, the mission. So if this, then that, if this, then that, if this, then that. And finally, the mission. And the mission was to invent the business development system that would be core to everything we did there at what we called the Michael Thomas Corporation, the very first business coaching company on the planet. Hear me, the very first. Nobody had ever conceived of creating the McDonald's of small business consulting. It's outrageous. What are you talking about? It's lunatic. But when we walked into McDonald's, we immediately said, we can do that. We can do what Ray Kroc did. We can do that for consulting small businesses by creating a turnkey consulting system that we can then hand off to novice consultants who we would then call business development specialists, who would then use our business development system with every single small business client we ever work with. That's the heart of it. That's the heart of the coaching industry today.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Right. And you know, you set off with this dream to just transform the state of small business. And it's funny, all the way down there at your mission, the way you were going to do it, created a system that 40 years later, so many consulting firms and coaches are able to follow, even as companies have won themselves. So by creating this dream and this purpose and this mission and this vision on yourself, you've seeded that into so many others that are now carrying it forward and helping other businesses. So you started the tidal wave.
And you can't do that without documentation.
So what we say is, you know, first you've got to learn to do it. And once you can do it consistently, you document it. And once you document it clearly, you can delegate it. And it's a simple process of learning to do things, document them, and delegating them. And I would say I'd take a step even further back now after this conversation and say, even before that, you have to dream it. You have to come up with the framework that you just mentioned and the inspiration of why you're getting into business, because that's going to inform and filter every decision that you make as you grow the business, and every documentation piece you write, and every person you hire, and every process you hand off. So I think it's, you know, thank you for giving me my fourth D.
It lives and breathes at the heart of everything you do every day.
Absolutely.
Why we're here. Why are we here? Why are we working so hard? Why is this important? Why is this meaningful? Why is this better than anybody else who's painting fences anywhere on the planet? You understand? It brings the heart to everything we do, the passion to everything we do. And I'm saying every human being on the planet can learn how to do that. Absolutely can learn how to do that.